1480 WHBC.
WHBC AM 10, reliable as ever, powered by Friends and Family Credit Union. It's time to bring a friend into the family on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
The Kenny and JT Show, powered by Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Huge basketball game for us tomorrow night right here on WHBC. Coming your way around 5:45 tomorrow. The Massillon Tigers will be hosting the McKinley Bulldogs. Yesterday we had Coach Witherspoon on talking McKinley hoops. Today we go to Tiger Town and bring in the outstanding head basketball coach at Massillon, and that is Josh Hose. Coach, how are you today?
Doing great. Thanks, Kenny, for having me. I'm excited to have you guys at the game tomorrow.
Yeah, looking forward to such a huge game. JT and I, trying to break this thing down. And we had Coach Spoon in as they won their 2000th game. And he had nothing but great things to say about your basketball team and the style of play, the up-tempo, the points per game. Coach, give us your breakdown of this 16-1 season so far.
Well, I guess any season you could look back and I tell people, hey, a couple bounces here and there, and we're probably looking at, 3 or 4 more losses. We got lucky earlier and got the ball rolling and had a couple, big wins where we came from behind, and we were able to get a couple wins out of, some situations where we were behind. I guess that kind of speaks to the resiliency of the group and experience. Finding a couple wins out there that didn't look good for us at times, and but really. For a group coming out with, losing our top scorer from last year, we had some big roles to fill. They've done a great job, and it's a fun group to work with. It's not always been pretty at times, but then at the end of the day, I think most teams and most coaches could probably say in a 22-game season, you're going to have those moments of those games where you're going to have to slug it out and figure a way, get a W, because there's so many good, well-coached teams in Northeast Ohio. You don't get too many easy ones.
It's one of the most talked about matchups of the year by far. Sold out tomorrow, I'm hearing, Coach.
I think it was getting close. I don't know if it officially is or not. I didn't check this afternoon, but it seemed like it was trending that way.
Yeah, and of course the rivalry. It's just football. It's not just football, right, Coach? You and Coach Spoon have talked about that because we're looking at 17-3 against 16-1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean that's the two communities. Anytime they're playing against each other, we're they're going to show up. Our fans. Hopefully this is a good opportunity to, see some great basketball for both communities. And, obviously McKinley's having a great year. Spoon does a great job. So, I anticipated it would be a huge crowd, and, it's going to be a packed house. Hopefully if there's any seats left, people can grab them up, but I don't anticipate there being too many open seats tomorrow night.
Yeah. And if it is sold out, tune in to WHBC. Dan Belford, Danny Kincaid will have the call for you. And Coach, obviously 16-1, a lot of things have gone right for you, but when you're playing your best basketball, what are you guys doing?
That's a great question. I feel like we played at our best, look at games like against Ursuline, Hawken, in the late in the game against CBCA, and it's when we're playing defense well, and you look at, everybody talks about our points per game. I always joke, I say, we may be the most points somebody gives up on a night, and they may be the most points they score some nights, in their season. So some of that style of play, but when we are just locked in on the defensive end, rotation wise, and causing turnovers and getting out in transition and getting some easy baskets, that's when we're at our best. I think the Ursuline game, we just really, did a good job. Even though Gunther goes and gets 31, our guys did a great job on him. He's going to score. And, we made it, most of his baskets tough ones. And then, Hawken with 3 really good quality guards. We jumped up on them early with our defensive pressure, and just, got some easy buckets, got the ball rolling earlier. And, games that we don't lock in on the defensive end as much, or we get out in rotation, those are the games we let teams hang around, and we're able to pull away sometimes late. We wear some teams down, but it's not a good way to live. So we've been really stressing on that, that end of the court. Offensively, our guys do a good job of kind of moving the basketball and being balanced on that end. So, the defensive ends, and obviously we always stress rebounding. We're not very big. We're going to see a monster team tomorrow. The boards are huge for us. We got to be, all hands on deck, get rebounds on both ends of the court.
So, Coach, with that in mind, with the rebounding, and I'm I haven't seen you play in person, right? Read a lot about you, but with the rebounding, scoring that many points, do you give up maybe some points to make sure you get the rebound? Or are you a team that likes to get out and run, so you might be leaking a little bit early and you can't do that tomorrow? Or no, you hit the boards no matter what?
Well, not by design, but some of our guys, we have to catch them on film sometimes, point out the fact that they anticipate somebody getting a rebound and the eagerness to get out and run gets the best of them. But it's definitely one of those things when you're playing up tempo. It's like anybody says when you're in a press, a pressing team, you're going to give up some money. So you got to live with that.
Right.
And you know what I mean? It's like if you're not a zone team and you go in a zone and the team hits a couple shots, you want to get out of your zone right away. You got to stay true to who you are. And so, yeah, there are some times that we give up some stuff, and we're sometimes too aggressive on the offensive boards as well. We've gotten burned a couple times on some of the other teams leaking out on us. So, finding that balance is tough, but the aggressive style is what's worked for us, and our guys have stayed true to that. And there's always going to be stuff you find on film that you coaches are always looking for something to kind of tighten the screws on, and that's one of our areas we got to just continue to improve on.
Obviously, athletes all over the floor. I mean, you guys are averaging 83 points a night. I mean, what is the, I guess, bread and butter? I mean, are we trying to just, like you said, run up and down? Is it a track meet every night or what?
It gets like that at times. I don't feel like the whole game is like that. We're not as deep this year as we've been in past years as far as our rotation. We're rotating 8 to 9 guys, but the minutes aren't as balanced. Our top 6 are battling off a lot of those minutes, and but I think the key is just running when it's opportunistic and when it's there. And I think that our balance has been huge. I think we have 4 guys right now averaging double figures. And our next 2 guys in the top 6 are, right around, I think Terrion's at 9.8 and Isaiah's around 7.5, almost 8 points a game. So, just when we're playing our best, they're all moving the ball and finding the open guy, and we're taking the high quality shots. And that's hard to find because, most teams you look at, you're worried if they got 2 or 3 guys can score. So that balance has been really good for us.
So another legacy, Dad was Butch, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you're also another guy that comes. Get this, Kenny. Yeah. You want to connect the dots? Here's another coach right now from John Carroll University.
You're all over the place.
What is with it with you guys?
Basketball, football, it doesn't matter, Coach.
I didn't get as lucky as some of the other guys I went to school with that made the NFL and are going to Super Bowls. But definitely proud of our John Carroll heritage there. And Kenny, I believe you're a BW guy.
Yeah, so does JT. Yeah.
I don't want to hold that against you, but
that's all right. We got nobody, man.
Excuse me for not understanding or knowing exactly how old you are, but are you aware of the Polians? Do you know the Polians at all?
I know of Brian and Bill, obviously, but I went to school. My freshman year was, McDaniels and Casario.
Okay.
They were seniors.
Okay.
I know them a little bit. And Dave Ziegler, who went to the Raiders with Josh as his general manager. Okay. He was a year ahead of me. So, there's several guys and connections there. Tommy Arth and I, the quarterback coach for the Steelers. I know that makes Kenny happy to hear.
Yeah.
He was a year behind me in school. So, Tom real well. And, it's kind of like you said, connect the dots. There's a lot of, that's everything in coaching. Once you get that kind of connection going and that pipeline going, it starts to flow.
You know what pisses me off, JT? After he's bringing all these names up, right? And love having Coach Hose on with us. But
we didn't go to John Carroll.
Yeah, what the hell, man? I mean, you got all those football coaches. You got Coach Moran Sr., Coach Moran Jr. with basketball. Coach Fuelline's up the street here at Mount Union. And what do we have? Bob Packard. Well, we did have Lee Tressel back in the day, right? And Jim played for his dad. Correct. But, and Coach Packard, that's about it, man. Gosh, you guys are all over the place, Coach.
Well, those who can't play coach, I guess that's maybe our motto at John Carroll.
Coach well, though. There's a difference.
Very, very well. 16-1 this season so far for the Massillon Tigers, hosting the McKinley Bulldogs tomorrow. 5:45 tip-off. We'll have it for everybody right here on WHBC. You mentioned 4 guys in double digits. Xavier Williams at nearly 17 a game. Giorgio Jackson Jr., 16.5. Jada's Thickpen at about 15, and Braylon Gamble, know him from football, at 14 a game, Coach. So teams really can't zero in on one guy, can they?
Yeah, I mean, that's that balance piece that helps definitely when they are, like, I feel like sometimes recently Jada's been hot, so teams have been kind of keen on him. The other night we were at Worcester. and Giorgio got it going, and X had a good game. And Braylon got, I think there was like 23, 20, and 18 leading us. You know what I mean, over there. So it is easy to pick up the slack and kind of find the open guy. If we're just willing passers, that's when the balance happens. And that's hard to get the kids to buy into at times. And this group's been really good with that.
When you put the film of McKinley on, what jumps off that tape at you?
No, they're really good. They're well coached. They're deep. They have a little bit of everything. They have some quick guards on the outside that can shoot it. They have some huge, big guys inside. They present a lot of matchup problems that way. They're very physical. So, I know I listed a lot of things there, but that's definitely, what I see when I look at that film.
So tomorrow, what's going to be the key for you guys to make it to 17-1 and knock off your arch rival?
We're going to go back to those things we talked about: rebounding and defending really well, trying to get out and get a couple easy buckets because they're stingy in the half court with their defense and their length. Obviously making shots always helps. So and I think the biggest thing when you go into a game like this is just with the rivalry is your poise, how you handle the moment, and kind of. A lot of our guys played in that game last year over there, and they played some of them played in the game over here 2 years ago. So, drawing on that experience will be big, and just kind of it's going to be a game of runs. Just taking advantage of the runs that we get, and then limiting their runs when they're putting them together.
Coach, I'm looking at the two schedules, McKinley and Massillon. McKinley's done with its regular season the 17th. You've got games the 19th, 20th, and 27th. Was that because of a later start with football for you guys? Is that the norm for you guys?
It's kind of a hybrid of things. So we started a little bit later because of football, obviously, and then we bumped the Glen Oak game back because of the football late. It was possibly extending there.
Right.
I talked to Glen Oak and they moved it back. But I think like Jackson and Tim DeBevick and I talked earlier in the fall, and, with the Division 1 and 2 tournament starting later, we would have had a long gap there because I don't think our tournament first games will be like the 26th of February, like the play in, or sectional semis.
Right.
But then the districts won't be until the following week. So we're like, you don't want to have that time of the year. You don't want to have a deep gap in your schedule. So we decided to bump it back. So it's kind of like a combination of those two things. Trying to limit that gap there. You don't have like 2 weeks off. I know Spoon was talking about they have a scrimmage left.
Yep.
That they're going to try to maybe fill in there. But we've done that in the past. It's worked well for us.
Look at that. He's listening to our show. He knew that Coach Spoon was talking about that screen. He's getting all the intel.
I knew Coach Spoon was in the studio. I'm a little jealous.
Oh, you bring us some free gear. We'll invite you too. That's how it works, kid.
JT's not shy about saying that,
That's
Coach.
right.
Yeah. But hey, anytime you want to come in when the tournament starts, you're more than welcome to come in as well. We thought you'd be busy getting ready for this one, and so we just wanted to hit you up on the phone. 7 divisions now in high school basketball in the state of Ohio. You guys are D2. Has that helped you guys that it's broken down now into 7 as opposed to 3 or 4 in recent years?
Absolutely. I think schools like, the Division II ones around here, like us, Lake, Perry, Dover, North Canton, Greene, you're on the smaller end of D1 in the past years. So, I think my second year at Massillon, we're 19-win team. We're playing Jackson in the first round and, at the Fieldhouse in the second round. And, that depth in Division One a couple of years ago was so huge. And you're going against teams that are bigger schools, and it's a competitive advantage. It does help. I know some coaches were upset they got rid of the sectional rounds with the way they reformatted it. There's going to be problems no matter what, but it definitely opens up an opportunity for the smaller big schools to have a chance to get out, because it was really hard in our area to win a district title. So, hopefully that opens that door up for some teams to advance. And you saw it last year, with Perry and Louisville in this area making a run. And hopefully that continues for our area, because there's great basketball programs in Northeast Ohio, let alone Stark County.
Coach, we asked this question during the football season quite a bit, and construction of the schedule. I mean, when you're not in a conference, how hard is it? You're scheduling 20 or so teams throughout the year, and it's different because I don't know in the Massillon basketball program if you've got home and aways on a regular basis, but I mean, how hard is it to put that schedule together?
It's difficult. We've gotten kind of settled in that, year 8 now for me, get ahead of it and start scheduling stuff. You got about 5 or 6 games already for next year set up. You got kind of your regulars that you keep on there, get, 7 or 8 new teams a year. Unfortunately, we run into sometimes where we play a team and we're supposed to come back to us the next year. We go to them the first year and they bail out or they have a league issue. So we've lost some games there. The last couple of years. So it's not as tricky as it was the first couple of years. There's a little bit better art to it now that, kind of getting some of those connections and contacts out there. But it can be sticky and it's hard. You're playing 22 independent games and you end up in 2 weeks like this where you had 3 games, last week and 3 games this week. And then you go, a week where you have just 1 game. So, it's like I said, it's a balancing act, but it's gotten a lot better.
That's right, because you've got a back-to-back with McKinley and then Tom McBride, correct?
Correct.
Wow.
That's scheduling my part.
Yeah, way to go. Well, you know what, Coach? You put the kids in all kind of different situations, don't you, to toughen them up mentally and physically?
For sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's part of it. Like, you're going into tough environments and, playing in some of the classics and different things. You go in against teams you've never seen before, but it's all for experience to get ready for the next month here.
Yeah, and who's this International Sports Academy, I'm guessing, is the last word that you guys are playing?
Mm-hmm. They used to be out of Willoughby, Andrews Osborne. It's a prep school type thing.
Okay.
And they moved in last year. We played them last year as well. We lost a game with Garfield and had to pick up a last-minute game. They came down and played us here. They're actually now out of the Cedar Point complex up there, the new sports complex they put in, which is awesome. And, I know they played Hawken earlier in the year. They're playing Marietta. They played Ursuline. So they'll pick up some Ohio teams and they play some prep schools. And they're a bit of a mystery because, we watched them, I think, 5 films last year. They had 5 different lineups and rosters. So, they were willing to come down and give us another home game. We were needing one. So we signed them up for another game this year.
Coach,
they're talented, though.
Yeah, I'm always looking at schedules, and I always like to see who's playing who, especially when you're not in a conference, and that one caught my attention. Then after that, you've got Glen Oak and Jackson, so you're not in the Federal League, but you're basically playing by the Federal League, aren't you?
This is the first year that we played every team in the Federal League.
How about that?
Yeah. So we've had a pretty consistent group, and then some teams that were able to play us one year and not the next year, whatnot. So, but this will be the first year we played the whole roster of the Federal League teams, and then not by design, but they're mostly loaded at the end of the year here.
Yeah, well, Coach, we wish you nothing but the best, not only tomorrow as you take on your rival, the McKinley Bulldogs, but throughout the postseason. We said this to Coach Spoon. How sweet would this be, JT? We get D1, McKinley winning a state title. D2, we get Massillon winning a state title, and we hang out down in Dayton that whole weekend and just have a great time, Coach. How about that?
I'd love to see that happen. We got a lot of work to do to get there, and you guys know that. But let's cross our fingers, and hopefully we hang out down there in a couple weeks.
All right, Coach. Sounds great. Best of luck to you. Thanks so much. And like we said, open invite whenever you want to come in studio. Okay.
I'll take you up on that sometime when I got some more free time here. All right. Thanks.